Long enough to cover the subject and short enough to keep it interesting. Welcome to Outta My League. I'm Nick Diaz. So let me ask y'all a question. Let's go back down memory lane. Do you remember when you were in high school? There was a guy who was maybe a little older than everyone else that would show up to a party every once in a while, and he was really just there to buy everyone beer. You remember that? Every high school in America has one. They went to the same high school as you did, and his senior year, he made friends with a couple of the sophomores and the freshmen one time, and maybe you were one of them, and y'all kept in touch with him. And then one day, when you were a senior, you needed booze, you called him up. Or maybe it was just someone's older brother that's in college. And everyone liked this guy, usually. He showed up, he did his job, he hung out for a few minutes, you paid him what he was owed, and then he left. And when anyone asked you, hey man, who's that guy? You always said, oh, don't worry about it. He's cool. But then one night, this guy starts hanging out a little bit longer, and you don't think much of it. And then he starts hanging out with you a little bit longer, and then a little bit longer. And then he starts talking with some of the sophomores who are at the party, who were still in middle school when this guy was a senior, and they don't really remember him. And then he strikes up conversations with phrases like, oh, you don't remember me? I made JV as a freshman. I'm a legend around here. Oh, hey, by the way, do you know which one of these girls are 18? And then one night, he starts calling you up. And at that moment, you decide, maybe we'll just get a fake ID. And guess what? Right now, that's what's happening with Drew Brees. Now, many of you have probably been asking, why hasn't Drew Brees retired yet? My response to that has always been, well, they're waiting till June 1st because it saves the Saints almost $24 million in cap space in a year where the salary cap is going down and the Saints need all the help they can get. Then, just a couple days ago, Drew Brees posted a video on Instagram of him pushing a weighted sled up a hill. Now, these are not reports. There are no reports of Drew Brees wanting to come back. However, there are rumors from people in the media who know people who know Drew Brees. These are my favorite kind of rumors. Now, rumors are just rumors, and I don't put much stock into people in the media who say that their best friends, sisters, boyfriends, brothers, girlfriend heard from this guy who knows this kid who's going with a girl that told them that Drew Brees looked at Tom Brady this past year and thinks, well, maybe one more year. That's a fool's game. But Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, who is one of the best reporters in the industry, had this to say.
My understanding of this situation is he wants to do it when he is ready to deal with it and admit to it. I mean, that's probably the best way to say it. He's played football his entire life. He's always been a football player. It's hard for someone to come to grips with the fact that they are retiring. He just wants to make sure when he announces it that he is fully at peace with it. That is what is going on. He is not going to play quarterback for the Saints next year.
Okay. I believe that. But, like the guy who still hangs around his old high school after he graduated, dude, it's hard for everyone. I mean, it wasn't hard for me. I still can't tell you the last time I drove past my old high school. But, Drew, I get it, Drew. I get it. Okay? But guess what? Don't end it this way. Please. The Saints don't want you back. Because at the end of the day, this is a business. And if you're a Saints fan who says, if Drew Brees wants to come back, then he's earned the right, the Saints should let him come back, he deserves the right to end on his own terms. Trust me. You don't want to do that. You don't want to end it that way. You just think you do. And if all of this is true, has any ounce of truth to it, if you think ending your career with a loss at home in a less than half than empty Superdome is a bad way to go out, then guess what? The Saints telling you to go away would be a hell of a lot worse. Now, I, for one, think that Drew Brees is just taking time because this is hard on him. And I do think that he's also taking time because financially, later, when he does retire, it'll help the Saints. But to anyone who believes this, or worse, thinks that this is a good idea, if this were true, just think about that guy at your high school or college frat party who has already graduated and still just won't leave. You don't want Drew Brees to be remembered that way. Thanks for listening to Out of My League. If you like what you heard, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, or follow me on Twitter and Facebook in the description link below.